Switzerland, from Celts to independent nation. Hello everyone and welcome to our channel. Today we're going to dive into the fascinating history of Switzerland, a country known for its neutrality and stunning alpine scenery. Join us on this journey to discover how Switzerland became what it is today. Did you know that Switzerland was not always neutral? This small European country has a rich history full of conflicts and strategic alliances. From its first settlements to its consolidation as a neutral nation, Switzerland has witnessed numerous historical events that have shaped its identity. The first inhabitants of Switzerland were Celtic tribes, known as the Helvetii. These peoples settled in the region more than 2,000 years ago, taking advantage of its fertile valleys and mountains. The Helvetii lived in fortified villages and traded with other Celtic tribes in Europe. With the expansion of the Roman Empire, Switzerland was conquered and became the province of Helvetia. The Romans built towns, roads, and fortifications, leaving a deep mark on the region. Romanization brought advances in infrastructure and trade, transforming the lives of local inhabitants. The fall of the Western Roman Empire marked the beginning of a new era for Switzerland. As Roman power crumbled, the region was invaded by Germanic peoples. These invaders brought with them new customs and political structures, influencing Switzerland's future development. The fall of the Western Roman Empire marked a turning point in the history of Switzerland. The region, previously organized and prosperous under Roman rule, became vulnerable to invasion and plunder. This instability opened the door to new ethnic groups and significant changes in the social and political structure. With the fall of the Roman Empire, Switzerland became a target for Germanic peoples. Tribes such as the Alemanni and Burgundians invaded and settled in the region, bringing with them new customs and power structures. This period was crucial for the formation of Swiss identity. As Germanic peoples settled, small kingdoms began to form in Switzerland. These fragmented political entities constantly fought each other for control of territory. The lack of a centralized power contributed to the cultural and linguistic diversity that characterizes Switzerland to this day. The influence of the Franks in Switzerland was decisive. Under the leadership of Clovis and his successors, the Franks extended their rule over much of Europe, including Switzerland. This new order brought a certain stability and allowed the integration of the region into the growing structure of the Carolingian Empire. The House of Habsburg emerged as a dominant force in Switzerland during the Middle Ages. These powerful Austrian nobles controlled vast territories and sought to expand their influence. Their presence and territorial ambitions in Switzerland would be a catalyst for the formation of the Swiss Confederation in future conflicts. In 1291, the Swiss Confederation was formed, uniting the cantons of Uri, Schwyz, and Unterwalden. This mutual defense agreement arose in response to the threat of the Habsburgs and marked the beginning of an alliance that would lay the foundations of modern Switzerland. The founding cantons, Uri, Schwyz and Unterwalden, were mountainous regions that shared common interests and the need to defend their autonomy. This pact became a symbol of unity and resistance in the face of external pressures, especially from the powerful Habsburgs. The Swiss Confederation expanded during the Middle Ages, incorporating new cantons and strengthening its structure. This expansion not only increased its territorial power, but also consolidated the idea of a political community based on cooperation and mutual support among its members. As new cantons were added, the Confederation faced challenges and conflicts, especially from the Habsburgs, who sought to control the region. The battles of Morgarten in 1315 and Sempach in 1386 were crucial in reasserting the independence and cohesion of the Confederation. The recognition of Swiss independence in 1499, following the Swabian War, was a significant milestone. This achievement consolidated Switzerland's position as an independent political entity in Europe, allowing the Confederation to develop its identity and govern itself without intervention from foreign powers. The conflicts with the Habsburgs marked a critical stage in Swiss history. The struggle for autonomy and independence of the Swiss cantons pitted the young Confederation against one of the most powerful dynasties in Europe. These tensions culminated in several decisive battles and shaped the character of the country. Among the most significant battles were Morgarten and Sempach. At Morgarten, the Swiss used guerrilla tactics to defeat Habsburg forces in 1315. The Battle of Sempach in 1386 further consolidated Swiss independence. These victories strengthened unity between the cantons and their determination to maintain their freedom. The recognition of Swiss independence in 1499 followed the Swabian War. This conflict pitted the Swiss Confederation against the Holy Roman Empire, led by the Habsburgs. The Swiss victory at Dornach was crucial in securing their autonomy. From then on, the Confederation established itself as an independent entity in Europe. The Protestant Reformation in the 16th century had a profound impact on Switzerland. Led by figures such as Ulrich Zwingli and John Calvin, the Reformation divided the cantons between Catholics and Protestants. This religious division not only affected the spiritual life of the nation, but also its political and social cohesion. Religious conflicts between Catholics and Protestants led to armed clashes, including the War of Kappel. This civil war, which occurred in 1529 and 1531, resulted in the death of Zwingli. The Peace of Kappel, signed in 1531, established a fragile balance between the two confessions, allowing coexistence in the cantons. The Protestant Reformation in the 16th century brought about a profound transformation in Switzerland. Movements led by figures such as Ulrich Zwingli and John Calvin divided the country into religious factions, creating tensions between Catholic and Protestant cantons. This religious division affected the internal cohesion and stability of the Swiss Confederation. Religious conflicts between Catholics and Protestants culminated in armed clashes. The War of Kappel in 1529 was one of the most notable episodes of these tensions. The battles were not only violent, but also left deep scars on Swiss society, polarizing communities and families. The War of Kappel had significant consequences for Switzerland. Zwingli's death in the Battle of 1531 marked a turning point. The Peace of Kappel, signed that same year, allowed the cantons to decide their own religion, establishing a fragile peace that, however, did not eliminate underlying tensions. During the 30 Years' War, Switzerland largely managed to stay out of the European conflict. Swiss neutrality, though not yet institutionalized, allowed the country to avoid the devastations that ravaged much of the continent. This practice of neutrality would become a defining characteristic of Swiss foreign policy. Swiss neutrality was officially established after the 30 Years' War. This principle allowed Switzerland to avoid military conflicts and focus on internal development. Neutrality became a fundamental pillar of Swiss national identity, strengthening its position as a haven of peace and stability in Europe. In the 18th century, Switzerland experienced a period of relative calm and prosperity. Cities flourished thanks to trade and the textile industry, while rural areas benefited from agriculture. However, social and economic tensions were beginning to build, paving the way for the changes to come. The French invasion in 1798 marked a turning point in Swiss history, when Napoleon Bonaparte established the Helvetic Republic. This new centralized regime replaced the traditional cantonal structures, provoking resistance and internal conflict. The Helvetic Republic lasted only 5 years, but left a deep mark on the nation. With the fall of the Helvetic Republic in 1803, Switzerland entered a period of reorganization. Napoleon issued the Act of Mediation, which restored some autonomy to the cantons, albeit under French supervision. This act helped to temporarily stabilize the country, allowing the Swiss to regain some of their independence. The Congress of Vienna in 1815 was crucial for Switzerland, as the European powers officially recognized its perpetual neutrality. This status protected Switzerland from continental wars and allowed it to focus on its internal development. Neutrality became a fundamental pillar of Swiss identity. During the liberal revolutions of the 19th century, Switzerland experienced significant political and social changes. The liberal movements promoted reforms that culminated in the Federal Constitution of 1848. This new constitution established a modern federal structure, strengthening national unity and laying the foundations for the country's economic and political development. The liberal revolutions of the 19th century brought Switzerland into a period of significant change. Questioning the established order, the Swiss called for more freedoms and rights. This movement culminated in a series of reforms that laid the foundations for a more democratic Switzerland, open to modernization. The Federal Constitution of 1848 marked a milestone in Swiss history, establishing a modern federal government. This new constitution strengthened the unity of the country and promoted equality between the cantons, thus boosting economic development and national cohesion. Switzerland was entering a new era. During this period, Switzerland experienced remarkable modernization and rapid economic development. The construction of infrastructure such as railways and roads facilitated trade and industry. In addition, the Swiss banking system began to consolidate, laying the foundations for its future status as a global financial center. In the World Wars, Switzerland maintained its neutrality, a stance that allowed it to avoid direct destruction and maintain its internal stability. Despite external pressures, Switzerland became a safe haven for many and a center of diplomacy. Its humanitarian role was widely recognized. During World War II, Switzerland's neutrality was put to the test, but the country managed to stay out of the conflict. Switzerland offered asylum to refugees and acted as a mediator in international negotiations. This stance reinforced its reputation as a neutral nation and an advocate of world peace. After World War II, Switzerland focused on rebuilding its economy and strengthening its position as a global financial center. Swiss neutrality allowed the country to become a safe haven for capital and a mediator in international conflicts, thus consolidating its reputation for stability and peace. In 2002, Switzerland made a historic decision to join the United Nations following a national referendum. This step marked a significant shift in Swiss foreign policy, demonstrating its commitment to international cooperation and the peaceful resolution of conflicts, without compromising its traditional neutrality. In the 21st century, Switzerland has remained a leader in innovation and technological development. Its high quality of life, renowned educational institutions and efficient healthcare system have positioned it as one of the most advanced and prosperous countries in the world, attracting global talent. Switzerland's global influence today extends far beyond its borders. Its role in international organizations, its secure banking and its luxury watch industry are just a few examples of how this small country has left a significant mark on the world economy and culture. If you enjoyed this journey through Swiss history, don't forget to subscribe and give it a like. Your support allows us to continue creating educational and entertaining content. Please leave us your comments and suggestions for future videos. Thank you for joining us on this historical adventure. Switzerland has maintained a unique position in the international community, standing out for its commitment to diplomacy and the peaceful resolution of conflicts. Its neutrality has allowed it to host organizations such as the Red Cross and host numerous peace negotiations, consolidating its reputation as a reliable mediator. In the 21st century, Switzerland remains an influential global player thanks to its economic stability, robust banking system and technological innovation policies. Its respect for human rights and direct democracy continue to be admired examples around the world, reaffirming its role as a beacon of progress and peace.